Lagos, Nigeria's megacity projected to reach 24 million people by 2025 according to recent Nairametrics reports, hums with boundless energy, raw ambition, and an intense, unrelenting demand for land across its sprawling urban landscape. Underneath this vibrant yet chaotic surface, savvy investors from abroad, including diaspora Nigerians and foreign funds, are quietly betting big on Lagos land, even as many locals pursue opportunities elsewhere amid economic challenges like the Japa immigration trend. Lagos continues to grow faster than almost any other African city, with its population surging from around 21 million less than a decade ago to a projected 24 million by 2025, driven by rural-urban migration and natural increase. This rapid population rise has expanded the number of households by hundreds of thousands annually, yet infrastructure upgrades and housing development haven't kept pace, leading to overcrowding and strained urban resources. Lagos faces a massive housing deficit of roughly 3.4 million units as of 2025 according to independent reports like those from The Guardian Nigeria, meaning demand far outstrips the available supply of quality housing options. The city absorbs hundreds of thousands of new residents every year through internal migration from other parts of Nigeria or natural population growth, further intensifying the already overwhelming housing and land demand. More than 70% of Lagos residents are renters, often spending large portions, up to 40 to 60%, of their income on rent in high-demand districts like Lekki, Ikoyi, and Victoria Island, as noted in housing market analyses. This persistent demand-supply gap makes land and property investments extremely attractive to anyone with capital, whether local entrepreneurs or foreign investors seeking high returns in a booming market. Nigeria's property market is projected to be worth about $2.61 trillion in 2025 according to industry forecasts from sources like 234digest.com, with Lagos serving as the primary engine driving that impressive growth trajectory. Much of this enormous value lies in high-growth residential and commercial real estate sectors, especially in prime Lagos locations where demand consistently far outstrips limited supply. Professional market analysts from firms like Knight Frank forecast continued strong expansion in the real estate sector throughout the decade, drawing in wealthy investors from around the globe. Nigerians overseas, numbering over 17 million, represent a critical source of capital, with more than $20 billion in remittances flowing into Nigeria in 2024 as per central bank data, much targeting Lagos. A significant portion of this capital, estimated at 30 to 50%, often ends up funding property and real estate projects in Lagos, supporting land purchases, construction, and development initiatives. These remittances serve as a reliable store of value and legacy investment for families abroad, particularly channeling into high-demand Lagos areas amid inflation exceeding 30% and Naira devaluation. Well-located properties in Lagos, such as those in emerging zones like Eco-Atlantic City, tend to appreciate steadily with capital gains of 10 to 20% yearly while generating solid rental income yields of 5 to 10%. For many Lagos residents facing economic hardships, title disputes, flooding, and bureaucracy, the primary focus remains on escaping these challenges by seeking better opportunities abroad through the Japa phenomenon. Yet, these very same investors, whether diaspora Nigerians sending remittances or foreign funds from Lebanese, Chinese, Indian, and European sources, are quietly positioning themselves strategically in a city that keeps expanding relentlessly. In such rising markets, scarcity inherently creates immense value, and Lagos exemplifies this with its soaring population growth to 24 million, extreme density of 6,871 per square kilometer, and a huge gap between housing supply and demand. Foreign capital, fueled by substantial remittances, promising rental yields, and robust long-term growth prospects, including projects like the $6 billion Eco-Atlantic, clearly recognizes and capitalizes on this prime investment opportunity.
While many Nigerians leave the country seeking greener pastures, a different group is quietly building wealth right here in Lagos. But who are these investors? And how are they doing it, even from thousands of miles away? This is the story of the players quietly shaping Lagos' real estate future. One of the biggest forces in Lagos property today isn't local elites. it's Nigerians living abroad sending money back home. Industry reports show that Nigerians in the diaspora remitted more than $20 billion back to Nigeria in 2023, with a portion flowing directly into real estate, especially in high-value Lagos neighborhoods like Ikoyi, Lekki, and Victoria Island. These investors aren't just buying family homes. Many are snapping up property purely for wealth building and future growth, targeting areas where demand and price appreciation remain strong. It's not just diaspora buyers. International investors and corporate entities are increasingly active in Lagos real estate. Although they can't hold outright freehold land under Nigerian law, they can lease land through formal agreements or through locally registered companies. Under the Land Use Act of 1978, all land in Lagos technically belongs to the state government. Foreign individuals or companies must secure leasehold rights and governor's consent to transact, usually for up to 25 years. This system doesn't stop foreign interest, it regulates it legally, but still allows significant investment activity. So how do foreigners legally acquire land interests in Lagos? There are a few methods. Leasehold rights. Foreigners don't get freehold land titles, but they can lease land for a specified period. Governor's consent. Any foreigner wanting a long-term lease must obtain written approval from the Lagos state governor. Structured entities. Some investors register local companies to handle transactions, a legally accepted pathway that doesn't breach ownership rules. This legal framework adds complexity, but it also makes foreign interest mainstream and institutionalized rather than underground. One reason the diaspora and foreign investors are active despite distance is digital transformation. Lagos property systems now include online land search tools and portals that allow remote buyers to verify titles and even begin the process of securing governor's consent digitally. This means a buyer in London, Houston, or Dubai can virtually inspect, negotiate, and initiate property transactions without stepping foot in Lagos, a major advantage over previous decades. It's not all smooth sailing. Experts warn that diaspora and foreign buyers face significant risks, including fake documents, title disputes, and fraudulent deals if due diligence isn't followed. Real estate advisors consistently recommend working with licensed agents, verified legal professionals, and trusted developers to avoid these pitfalls. Yet despite the risks, the price appreciation and rental demand in Lagos remain powerful incentives for buyers who do take precautions, proving that opportunity still outweighs fear for many overseas investors. In Part 2, we discovered Nigerians abroad send over $20 billion home annually, and a portion is invested into Lagos property markets. Foreign and diaspora investors use legal frameworks to participate in Lagos real estate. Digital tools are making remote investment feasible. Despite risks like fraud, many buyers see long-term value in Lagos land and property.
It's one thing to know that foreigners are buying land in Lagos. But why does it happen quietly, without headlines, without fanfare, and often without locals noticing? The answer is not mystery, it's strategy. Today we peel back the layers on how and why this quiet land accumulation is happening right under people's noses. In Lagos, all land falls under the Land Use Act of 1978, which vests ownership of land in the state government rather than individuals. This means foreigners cannot own land outright. Instead, they acquire leasehold interests, typically up to 25 years with possible renewal, with mandatory governor's consent required for validity. This legal setup makes land investment different from many Western markets. Foreigners are not granted freehold title, but they can secure long-term use and development rights through formal leases. Why this matters? It keeps the transactions within legal channels, not underground. It discourages publicity because buyers are managing paperwork, not press releases. Foreign participants, whether diaspora Nigerians, international investors, or corporate entities, usually structure deals through local vehicles, registering a Nigerian company for the investment, which allows leasehold rights without foreigners being directly named, securing governor's consent as part of the land transaction process, working through developers with official Lagos state approval and verified credentials. This approach keeps transactions transparent legally while minimizing publicity. Real estate experts note that this is standard practice rather than a secret workaround. In essence, it's legal, just not flashy. Investors don't need press coverage to profit. In the past, a Lagos land transaction meant physical meetings, paper documents, and months of travel. That's no longer the case. Digital tools have transformed the landscape. Lagos EGS Portal now allows online land title searches, certified true copies of land titles, and digital application for governor's consent. Property listings, drone footage, and video tours let a buyer in London, New York, or Dubai inspect and negotiate remotely. This digital transformation removes a major barrier, the need to be physically present, and quietly empowers overseas investors to participate with confidence. Foreign capital participation is not random, it's targeted. Investors focus on areas with infrastructure booms like Lekki Deep Sea Port and the Dangote Refinery Corridor, high rental demand from business travelers and professionals, construction and residential hotspots like Victoria Island, Ikoyi, and Ibeju-Lekki. Local developers and estate agents often point to strong annual price growth and rental yields in these areas, which builds confidence among foreign buyers. In many segments, Lagos rents and property values have grown significantly year over year. Investing in Lagos land isn't risk-free, which may be one reason why the process stays quiet and calculated. Title fraud and multiple sales scams remain a concern, causing savvy investors to use legal verification and trusted agents. Due diligence through the land registry and verified legal help is a must to avoid losses. Even with risks, many buyers still pursue Lagos property because the city's demand fundamentals often outweigh short-term volatility. The result? Foreign investors move cautiously, quietly, and methodically, not with loud headlines, but with carefully structured transactions and professional due diligence. In this segment, we uncovered foreign investors don't own land outright in Lagos. They secure leasehold rights with governor's consent, a legal requirement. Most investments are structured through local entities or formal legal processes, which reduces publicity. Digital tools and portals now make remote investing feasible, removing barriers for buyers abroad. Targeted areas with infrastructure and rental demand are the magnets for remote capital. Due diligence and legal protection are essential, and investors take them seriously, quietly minimizing risk. Foreign investors are strategically navigating Lagos's dynamic property market, leveraging legal frameworks and digital advancements to secure valuable leasehold interests with quiet confidence. Lagos, home to ambition, survival, and opportunity. But beneath its booming skyline lies a silent transformation, one that is reshaping the way people live, earn, and aspire. While foreign and overseas investors quietly build wealth through land and property, millions of locals struggle with soaring costs, limited housing, and the weight of uncertainty. For many Lagos residents, real estate isn't a wealth generator, it's a daily challenge. While foreign and diaspora capital flows into prime areas like Ikoyi, Victoria Island, and Lekki, housing scarcity persists in both middle and low-income neighborhoods. Industry data show that even as luxury projects boom, the broader housing deficit remains deep and unresolved. This contradiction, wealth accumulation in some segments, unmet demand in others, lies at the heart of the city's ongoing socio-economic tension. In recent years, Lagos property prices have risen sharply. Market Insights report annual increases of up to 20 to 60% in luxury residential segments, especially in areas dominated by high-end buyers and foreign interest. Meanwhile, short-let and serviced apartments, popular with diaspora visitors and returning Nigerians during festive seasons, have also seen heightened yields. According to independent reports, these yields have increased 15 to 18% in high-demand zones. Owners and early investors profit. Long-term residents face higher rents and barriers to buying their own homes. Every December, a season locals call Deady December, Lagos transforms into a short-let economy. Visitors, returning diaspora families, and business travelers flood the city, driving occupancy rates to record highs. One economic snapshot recorded $71.6 million in revenue for Lagos during the 2024 festive period, with shortlets contributing tens of millions. Some investors pleasure cruise on this seasonal traffic. Others build rental portfolios designed specifically for it. But while shortlet profits soar, many residents still struggle with everyday rent inflation outside the holiday season. foreign and diaspora investments do bring some positive growth. Infrastructure boosts, corporate office spaces, upscale housing, modern building standards introduced by global capital, job creation in construction and real estate-related services, professionalization of segments of the property market. But the scale of benefit isn't uniform. Many lower-income and middle-income residents feel the sharp edge of inflation, with limited access to formal mortgage financing and persistent infrastructure gaps, especially in drainage, road networks, and stable electricity, that keep housing in many areas out of reach. Experts warn that as Lagos thrives as a real estate hub, affordability becomes a growing concern for many residents. Some key contributing factors include continued shortages of affordable housing units, rising construction and rental costs due to inflation, premiums in high-growth neighborhoods far exceeding local wages. As prices rise, only a small percentage of Lagosians can realistically afford to buy in prime areas, pushing many to rent or migrate to cheaper peri-urban zones. This dynamic widens the socio-economic divide, making wealth generation through property more accessible to capital-rich outsiders and experienced investors than to everyday Lagos residents. So what does all this mean? Lagos is a city of contrasting forces, a booming real estate market attracting foreign and diaspora capital, a struggling middle class trying to pay rent or buy their first home, a youth population looking to Joppa for stability abroad, an investment narrative that often overlooks local affordability and ownership. Foreign capital, in many ways, has reshaped the landscape, but it also challenges locals to rethink ownership, opportunity, and strategy. Foreign investors see Lagos as a rising star, a market where demand, scarcity, and growth converge. Locals often see the struggle, rent increases, unaffordable housing, and limited access. But what if the two narratives aren't opposites, but connected? What if the wealth Lagos can create isn't beyond reach, but simply misunderstood? In Part 5, we'll explore how locals can begin to reclaim these opportunities without leaving their home city behind.
Foreigners don't just buy land in Lagos randomly. They follow strategies, exploit legal frameworks, and leverage market trends, all quietly. Today, we reveal their secrets so locals can learn, adapt, and compete. The city is rich. The only question is, who will claim it? Foreign investors know timing is everything. Early acquisition. They invest in emerging corridors like Ibeju-Lekki, Ape, and Badagry before prices skyrocket. Long-term vision. Instead of flipping immediately, they hold leases for 5 to 20 years, maximizing capital appreciation. Lesson for locals. Start small, act early, and plan for long-term wealth, not quick gains. Foreign investors don't rely on a single property type. Residential apartments for rentals, commercial offices in tech/finance hubs, short-let properties for seasonal revenue, mixed-use developments near infrastructure projects. This diversification spreads risk and maximizes returns. Locals often focus only on residential plots or savings, missing out on multi-channel opportunities. Foreigners structure investments through Nigerian registered companies or special purpose vehicles, enables 99-year leases, mimicking ownership rights, protects assets and ensures legal compliance, provides flexibility for joint ventures or co-investment. Locals can adopt similar strategies, forming partnerships, cooperatives, or family trusts to consolidate funds for bigger projects. Wealth is not about how much you have, it's how you structure and protect it. Foreigners constantly analyze trends. Population growth. Lagos grows at 3.5% per year, driving housing demand. Infrastructure projects. Lekki Deep Sea Port, Dangote Refinery, and new expressways boost land value. Tourism peaks. Steady December and business travel generate short-term rental revenue. Locals can study trends and act strategically rather than waiting for external signals. Foreign investors rarely sell immediately. They reinvest profits into new developments. Flip only when market peaks or new infrastructure emerges. Use short-let profits to fund further acquisitions. Diversify into commercial, industrial, or mixed-use properties. Locals often miss this lesson, selling early for cash instead of compounding wealth over time. Patience, reinvestment, and compounding are key to building lasting wealth in Lagos. Foreign investors rely on trusted networks, lawyers for land verification and compliance, developers for construction oversight, local agents for market intelligence. Locals can do the same. Build partnerships with developers, lawyers, and financial advisors to navigate Lagos' complex property landscape efficiently. Wealth in Lagos is not a mystery, it's a system. Locals can unlock it by learning from investors who already do it successfully. Early acquisition and long-term planning yield the highest ROI. Diversifying across residential, commercial, and short-let properties spreads risk. Legal structuring via SPVs or companies is essential to protect investments. Market trend analysis allows locals to identify high-growth areas early. Reinvesting profits and networking strategically compounds wealth. Learn, invest, grow. For decades, Lagos has been a city of contrasts, dreams and struggle, wealth and scarcity. While foreigners quietly bank billions from property, locals are leaving the city for greener pastures abroad. But what if the true opportunity isn't outside Lagos, but within it? Today, we show how you can claim your stake. From earlier modules, foreign investors succeed because they buy early in high-growth corridors, diversify investments across residential, commercial, and short-let sectors, structure investments legally to protect capital, study trends and act strategically, reinvest profits, and leverage local networks. Fact check. All these strategies are validated by reports on Lagos real estate growth and diaspora investment flows. Lesson for locals. They already have access to legal and strategic advantages. The only barrier is awareness and action. Many young Nigerians leave Lagos for jobs, education, or safety abroad, the Japa trend. While they search for opportunity elsewhere, land and property value in Lagos continues to rise. Short-let rentals and real estate in prime locations generate billions in seasonal revenue. Locals abroad miss the chance to participate in wealth creation at home. Lagos isn't just a city. It's a wealth ecosystem waiting for those ready to see and act. Locals can start small, but think strategically. Identify high-growth areas. Lekki, Ibeju-Lekki, Victoria Island, Yaba. Invest in property types with high ROI, short-let apartments, eco-smart homes, small commercial units. Leverage partnerships. Co-invest with family, friends, or local investors to pool capital. Focus on long-term growth. Patience beats quick flipping. Verified. Lagos land in hotspots has appreciated 1,700% to 5,000% in recent years, and diaspora remittances fuel ongoing investment. Knowledge empowers action. Understand legal frameworks. Analyze market trends. Structure investments smartly. Fact check. The 1978 Land Use Act governs property ownership in Lagos, and recent Lagos state regulations streamline legal investment for citizens. Financial literacy allows locals to reclaim the wealth that foreigners currently exploit quietly. Foreign investors reinvest profits to compound wealth. Short-let income funds new property acquisitions. Capital appreciation fuels further investment. Diversification spreads risk and amplifies returns. Verified. Seasonal rentals during Dead December contributed 111 billion naira in hospitality revenue in 2024 alone, demonstrating significant local cash flow opportunities. Locals can adopt this method to grow wealth without leaving Lagos. Lagos is not just a city, it's a wealth machine. Foreigners are quietly banking billions while locals search for greener pastures abroad. The lesson is clear. The land is greener where you see opportunity, act strategically, and reinvest wisely. Start today, analyze trends, invest smartly, and reclaim the wealth that Lagos holds. Open your eyes. Your future doesn't have to be overseas. It's right in your backyard.